that I know that we have to see people. These are the targets that we need to look for. I think the targets were clear, which helped me a lot. Coming to my other colleagues, when I came in, 3 of them has been recruited, but one had left. So we had a vacant post that we needed to recruit. I was privileged because, based on your experience, and I've spoken to your manager before that you've done this before. Would you like to join me in the recruitment process and then see how that one goes? So that was very welcoming, and I was part of recruiting one of our colleagues. And I think the process was very rigorous. We have a pile of people, but we took our time to go through the eligibility criteria, people's experience, what they've done, and how that fits into the service. And I think that gave me a lot of insight about what we're actually looking for. And luckily we managed to get somebody that we were expecting for that. So it was much open. I was more involved, especially for the last one. And that helped me to know about the vision and the kind of people that we wanted to have. Yeah.
So you said that there were a number of people who'd applied for that post, which I'm interested in.
Yeah.
Because that advert went out presumably not very long after the previous advert. So in terms of recruitment, you recruit into that
post.
Yeah, within a very short space of time, and you attracted many. Any ideas what are some of the things that actually influenced the numbers of people that you were able to attract?
If I should say, one thing that might come to mind is about the newness of the service. I think it's most of the time when people say something new, they're more likely to be part of a new service that is going to be developed, and the fact that we're going to work between primary care and then secondary care, I think people thought it's a good place to start with and see if they can be part of this pilot scheme as well. So maybe, to me, that was one of the reasons. I'm not sure about what people were expecting from the service at that point. But because I just came in and I saw that the number that responded was still quite high, I could say probably just because people wanted a new service that they wanted to help build it up and then own it as such. Yeah.
I think, that's an interesting point. Have you any idea in terms of how the advert and where it was placed and things like that? Is that something you know about?
I don't know much, but I think I knew that it was placed on NHS jobs all over the country. So NHS jobs, it wasn't restricted to only people that were already working here. Because when we went through that, there were people that have worked here, we at that trust and all over the place. So I think in terms of fairness, I could say I don't know where other place, but I know NHS jobs, it was there. I'm not sure about nursing times and other platforms, but I think there was no restrictions because some of the jobs it says only people that are already working within the trust.
Yeah,
I can
so
say this.
Sometimes in terms of
internal, but this was not internal. This was open to all. So I think that might also contribute to the fact that we had huge volume of people in that sense.
Okay, thanks. Okay, I'm going to come back. I want to explore a little bit more about the induction, the orientations for it. But let's just think in terms of stay with the recruitment process for a little bit more. Were there any things you think wouldn't work so well with the recruitment process? If you were doing it again tomorrow, what would you want to change?
I will say that the time frame was a bit shorter. I think that was partly because we had to wait for a long time to get to recruit somebody to the post that was already in the pipeline. So and probably we could have more time would have helped us a bit more. Like give us more time to go through. We did it in a day, but I think we'd have got more time. It's not a full day, but I think we could have had more time. Would have been helpful. If having mentioned this, also would have thought that make sure that we would have advertised this in a, not that I'm very sure that it was advertised only in NHS, but that one I know. But other places I'm not sure. Yeah. But if I should do it again and I'm involved, I will be saying that let's advertise everywhere. Right. So that means we capture almost every population, every group of people to have a fairer representation of the people to be able to select from. And
I
also
know for the first round, that was one of the things that seemed to have made a difference. Yeah. In that they advertise in local press and things like that, and you've got a much wider and much more diverse set of applicants.
So time will always be a factor, and the platforms where it is advertised will also be a factor, something that we consider.
Okay, brilliant. Anything else? Before we move on from recruitment, we'll leave in recruitment. Okay. So let's now just back a little bit to the induction and your orientation. You said that it was good. You said it was warm. It was welcoming. Yeah. So lots of things. It seemed, what I was picking up was that you felt as if you were walking into a culture that was really receptive and open and felt good to be in. Yeah. Was there anything else in terms of the more objective aspects of the induction that you thought was really useful?
I'll go back a little bit in terms of recruitment. For me, one of the things that we had a service user lead, John, on the panel. That was really helpful. Yeah. Because for me, I've always been service user oriented, and because that's the people that we are providing the service for. So I think that played a role, and to involve them and to say that, look, we value you, and whatever you say on your input and experience, so that's something that I'm missing. So that was one of the things that caught me interested as well. I think in terms of practical things.
Yeah, your induction, what helped you to get going? Because you were in the trust, but in a very different unit coming over. What helped you?
I think what helped me was the flexibilities initially between my two managers to be able to negotiate time off to come in was a factor. And also, I did a bit of shadowing with my colleagues that have started already, because they have already started. So a lot of shadowing, a lot of sharing ideas, and all the training that I missed, I had access to them in terms of email, and then people will mention it to me, and also a lot of people that came in to talk about the services that we might be needed as well. So the training that we had was part of it in terms of risk and other services around was part of it. I think access to information and being clearer about what the service is about, and also the visit to the GP premises. So we visited the GP premises. We did a bit of presentation to tell them what the service is about. I think that helped after being there and knowing the system that we're going to use, being trained on IMIS. One of the things that was helpful is that we had a chance to be trained on IMIS at each surgery. So not saying that you had it one here and that is it. So that actually helped, that every surgery that I went, I already had prior knowledge about how the system worked. So that was helpful, that we had ongoing training on IMIS. And even after that, my manager set up one of the people that like image guru.